Well, welcome everybody to the Racing Board's AGM, where we go back over the 2017-18 year. We've had a few apologies today. We acknowledge those, but they, along with anyone else, can take the opportunity to watch this on trackside in the coming days. We do have here members of the board, members of the management team, and a few staff and other members of the industry. So welcome and thanks for coming along. Today we will hear from Glenda Hughes, who's at her 5th AGM. Then we'll also hear from John Allen, our CEO, for his 4th, I think, John. Stephen Henry will give us a bit of a background on what is an incredibly exciting new fixed odds betting platform. He'll give you a quick overview of what's happening there as we close in on a pretty exciting launch date. And there'll be opportunity for questions and answers at the end of it. So let's crack into it and welcome up our chair, Glenda Hughes.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome to all of the people that are watching on TAB Trackside. Firstly, I'd just like to mention that the Minister today is unable to be with us. But we do recognise he's got a clear commitment to the industry. He's had it for years. It started with his father, who I believe was a trainer in racing, and he has always continued it, and he's always been extremely interested and supportive of the industry. It's also really great to have the annual report formally tabled in Parliament this week, so that we've actually got that done as well. You know, a lot of you listening will actually know some of these numbers, but I think it's a good idea that we go over them at times and follow them up. So, you know, there are almost 15,000 people who owe their livelihood to the industry, and there are thousands of volunteers involved in the sector. And I'd just like to thank some of them at a certain that have done extra work this year. Firstly, I'd like to thank the co-chairs. Thank you to Sean Hannam, Alan Jackson, and Ken Spicer. The board is really aware that this year has been more demanding than others, and we have called on you far more often for your input and discussion as to the future direction of the industry. Your willingness to meet together and with representatives of our board and our CEOs, sometimes at very short notice, has been greatly appreciated. The board, same thing. It's been a difficult year. We've had a lot of challenging things to do. We've had some very big projects going, and we've also, any industry that is under review at any time is always stretched. And I'd like to actually thank you all for your commitment to the industry and the significant contribution to the Nzrb policy and direction that you have made. Today, John will talk about Nzrb's successes in 2018, but customers are up, operating profit is up, distributions to the racing code are up, and programs such as our new betting platform and investment in our customers, which takes a while, see our racing product and how they prefer to bet sets up well for the future. And contrary to what you might believe, the working relationship with the racing codes has never been so positive. Challenging initiatives such as the Future Venue Plan, the outsourcing investigation and broadcasting strategy are testament to this. We're never all going to be on the same page, and that's just something that we all have to accept. But it's really good to see the work that comes through, especially on that Future Venue Plan, and that is actually with the codes actually working together and coming to the right conclusions. These positives have been achieved against some headwinds. This year's results haven't been delivered without some very difficult times. The board and codes have worked tirelessly for more than 4 years across Parliament to ensure those around the world who profit from New Zealand racing pay their fair share through a racefields regime. The withdrawal of the Racing Amendment Bill means the industry hasn't been able to realise approximately $5 million in revenue and was a challenge in our own revenue budget. The TAB is only a monopoly in name. There remains significant competition for New Zealand punters online, with tens of millions of dollars going offshore every year. We've also had to deal with a lot of regulatory requirements these days, and these are the things that go on that people out in the marketplace are not aware of. And one of them is the anti-money laundering regulations on the New Zealand Racing Board are major and costly. It's important we get it right, but we've had to invest to ensure we are ready for the 1st of August 2019, as we don't want to end up in a position that one of our international colleagues did, where they ended up in court being fined a massive amount for their mistakes in the anti-money laundering situation. We have, and I feel like it's an old record, but we have had ageing technology. Much of the New Zealand Racing Board's technology has been built for a different era. Work continues to get underway to future-proof the critical systems and processes. This is essential, but comes at a cost. For example, investment to ensure our systems could cater for this year's Melbourne Cup was critical and made a major difference. It's important to acknowledge the industry is in the midst of the biggest review of its structure in 15 years. This has created some uncertainty for our people, uncertainty for our partners, uncertainty for our suppliers, and uncertainty for our customers. Despite these challenges, the Racing Board delivered. And it is for these reasons and the results we will hear today that the Board remain confident in the direction and strategy of the Board. The Nzrb strategic initiatives are clear. If we are to deliver increased returns to the industry, we must invest and give the customers what they want. Often, businesses like ours look too internally and don't look externally to the customers, who are the people that actually keep us going. We need to hear from the customers, and it's really important that we do that. Clearly, the promotion of the domestic racing product is important, but customers also want a broader range of products, such as the latest sport from across the globe. Our customer and channels work puts the customer first, and we have to do that. Customers want an accessible, modern retail offering, and many of our international competitors are already delivering that. They want the best apps and website. They want product offers and options that appeal to them, and they want content that appeals to them and is available around the clock. It's no longer sitting at home, getting out the Dominion Post, reading the racing page and picking up the phone. That is a thing of the past, much to the elderly people like me's disappointment, but that is the way it is. Our progress in increasing the number of customers and our relevance to them has been staggering this year. Our new fixed odds betting platform will be a game changer when it gets turned on shortly. This is a sizable investment, but a vital one. We needed to act, and we know it will appeal to our customers, current ones, past ones, and new ones. And for those that don't know, we have been working with the customers to make sure that what we are delivering is exactly what they want, because that's the only way that you maintain a client base. And we support the work the Codes and the New Zealand Racing Board have done in developing an approach to tackle the challenges created by having too many racing venues for today's needs. That's been a discussion for ever since I've been involved with the Racing Board, which was about 2002, I think. And it's an ongoing discussion, and it's a difficult one, and it carries a lot of politics, and you've actually got to work really hard to make sure that everyone buys into it and works out what is best for the industry. The future plan, venue plan, has been a collaborative effort, and we have recommended to the Minister the consultative approach developed in partnership should be restarted. And finally, the success of the Vision Catcher project is there for all of you to see. State-of-the-art broadcast trucks and equipment, replacing technology that was on its last legs, and by the end of next year, all racing will be available in high definition. These strategic priorities are meeting the needs of the industry and our customers. They are critical, and they are adding massive value. And ultimately, they are improving the outcomes for the industry today and into the future. The Masara report has proposed the biggest reforms to the racing industry in 15 years. It's a welcome catalyst for addressing many of the challenges the industry has faced for a number of years. It's not well understood, but the Nzrb actually supports the vast majority of the recommendations within the report. Many of these recommendations refer to work already underway, such as the Future Venue Plan and the outsourcing evaluation. But timeliness is critical, and we must ensure that we can deliver on the momentum created at the release of the report. The board has reiterated to give whatever support is necessary to support the policy process stemming from the report. We've got to make sure that it doesn't get lost now that it's started on the track. The board has advocated for the industry to continue the work already underway through the Future Venue Plan, and many of the other changes can occur in relatively short timeframes. However, the TAB is a significant and valuable industry asset, and we owe it to our customers and the industry to ensure far-reaching decisions, such as outsourcing the TAB, are thoroughly analysed and carefully considered before any decisions are made. We await with anticipation the Minister's announcement of his advisory group to support him in this work. Looking forward, we must not be blinded by the challenges we face as an industry. Increasing competition, relevance to New Zealanders' economic and social threats, reducing product and escalating costs for many parts of racing are real. But looking forward, there's a lot to be positive about. Following the successful Cup and Show Week, we're now into the busiest part of the racing season as thousands of New Zealanders attend some great racing events across the country. The new betting platform will soon be live, and we will see improvements in how our customers experience and interact with our racing products. And the only word of warning is that we are making sure that it is properly tested before we put it out there. Because my own history, having dealt with these projects in the past, tells me that the testing is the key. And so we've got to make sure that we get our testing done properly and we know that it will work. We've made good progress on tackling tough issues such as animal welfare, and we're about to launch more initiatives supporting the diversity of the participants within our industry. We're doing what we can to retain the talent within our industry and supporting change to help ensuring racing retains its reputation as one of New Zealand's great pastimes. Finally, before I hand over to our CEO, John Allen, to highlight the results and outcomes for the year gone, I would, on behalf of the board, like to acknowledge all of our staff. Indecision and change can often be demotivating and can seriously impact the contribution by staff to an organisation, especially one like ours. As I said earlier, this has been an extremely challenging year, with major projects being launched at the same time that the industry faced a review and a report that recommended further change. The board have really appreciated the dedication and commitment of our leadership team and their teams. It's a special group of people who are able to focus on delivering what is best for the industry when faced with so many distractions. You have done this, and you have done it well. I have always had a view that there are no barriers out there are just things to do, and you have certainly taken this approach to delivering for the industry this year. Thank you very much.
So now let's hear from our CEO, John Allen.
Thanks, Steph. As Steph said, I've been here for 4 years. This is the fourth time that I've addressed this meeting. And it's 4 years of a consistent leadership team. It's 4 years of a consistent strategy. And it's 4 years of consistent progress, delivering what we've said we will deliver to the industry year by year by year. Now, the strategy, of course, was pretty straightforward. We need to increase distributions to the codes, and we can only do that by investing in the infrastructure and the customers of the TAB betting business, the engine which funds racing in this country. Squaring that circle isn't easy. How do you increase distributions and invest? The only way that we've been able to do it is to increase our profitability consistently over time, to leverage our balance sheet so that we can fund some of those things, and to take on some debt to smooth things for the industry as we go through that process. That, of course, is controversial, and I'll come back to some of the elements of that controversy as I go through this presentation. But what I can say to you right now is that the 17-18 year was another consistent performing year for the board, consistent in delivering the strategy, consistent in saying that we would do and doing what we said we would do. So if I just run very quickly through some of the key numbers, I mean, the chair's already alluded to some of this, but it was a year in which turnover grew, and that's always a good start. And turnover grew both for betting revenue at 0.8% and for gaming revenue at 9.1%. So that was a strong foundation for us to move forward. Not only that, but margins improved as well. So we saw net betting margins, particularly for racing fixed odds betting and for sports betting, improve significantly over the course of the year. Not surprisingly, when you get that sort of mix, we saw a lift in profitability, both in our underlying operating profit, which is the profit without the strategic projects, without the costs of the strategic projects in it, which grew to 154.9 million, but also in our net profit, which is what actually drives distribution, which grew to 145.9 million. Now, the really good news out of this is not just that little story, which is sort of positive, 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 but the distribution outcomes that were achieved for the codes. And as those of you that are in the code world know, we've been able to distribute 148.2 million to the codes from betting revenues in the course of the year, which is a very significant lift on the previous year. It includes that $12 million that we worked with the codes to pay forward against the delivery of some of our key strategic projects. In addition to that, $12 million was paid out of the gaming side of our business to the racing industry, largely to fund the RIU, the JCA, the laboratory, the integrity functions of the codes. We also paid increased distributions to our sports community. So those distributions grew the payments to the NSOs to about 10.2 million in the 17-18 year, and in addition to that, about 3.6 million of the gaming money went into amateur sport in our country. So this was a year in which we increased distributions, we increased profit, we increased turnover, and how did we manage all of that? Well, we increased customers. So it's all about focusing on the customer, as the chair said, and delivering for our customers. And you've seen, if you've been reading the report, flicking through it as the chair was speaking, you've seen those customer statistics. So we had 230,000 unique account bettors with us in the course of the year. That was up 20%. On the year prior. We had an average of 114,000 account bettors with us in any one month. That was up 18% on the previous year. We had 78,000 first-time bettors start with us in the course of the year. That was up about 15%. So we saw really strong growth in customer numbers. So I just want to now deal with some of the sort of narratives that potentially sort of contextualise, or which some people raise in relation to these sorts of figures. First, I'll start with customers. I've heard it said that what we've done is simply by using free bets and other inducements, we've got customers to join us who aren't valuable customers for us. And what I would say to you about that is, number one, that every betting organisation in the world is actively trying to secure customers, because customers in the betting world do churn. And so if you're not feeding the bottom of your pipeline, you're not going to grow that customer value for the long term. So we are unashamedly focused on getting first-time bettors and then retaining and growing them. It cost us in that 17-18 year about $63 to acquire each of those customers, about $63. On average, those customers turned over $1,300 each in the course of that year, and they delivered a profit of $197 at a GBR level per customer. So to those people who say to me that the science of customer acquisition doesn't work, the numbers of customer acquisition, which I've just described, demonstrate that that is wrong. The second thing that people say about the sort of strategy and approach that we've been taking is that taking on debt is a dangerous thing for an organisation like this to do, and we're on a slippery slope to some sort of calamity at some time in the future. And what I would say about that is that we have taken on very, very modest levels of debt in this organisation, given the size of the organisation. As you'll have seen in the annual report, the level of debt at the end of the financial year was $10 million. You know that we're increasing that over the course of this trading year as we secure our fixed odds betting platform. We're expecting that to peak at about $30 million in January and then to decline over the balance of this financial year as we begin to see the profits come through from fixed odds betting and other customer-related initiatives. So to those who would catastrophise debt, I would say to you that having some debt on the balance sheet is appropriate and routine and sensible given the challenge that we have and that the levels of debt are entirely manageable. There are people who've looked at our balance sheet and who've seen that we've been taking cash out of the balance sheet, as we said we would to the industry, to enable us to fund these various initiatives. And we have. In fact, we deliberately built up the balance sheet, as some of you will recall from previous meetings of this kind, to enable us to do that. We sold assets like this building and other buildings around the country to ensure that we had cash on the balance sheet that we could use to fund these initiatives essential to the future profitability of the industry. And I've got no concerns about the quality or state of our balance sheet. The net assets are about 53 million at the end of the financial year, as you will have seen. That we expect that balance sheet to grow as the initiatives that we have put in place, such as the fixed odds betting initiative, the customer initiatives, continue to deliver for the industry. So again, that sort of scenario, while I understand the concerns and sensitivities, and I can understand people having those concerns and sensitivities, simply isn't true. In relation to costs, you will have seen that overall costs grew in the course of the year, and they were up about 8.1 million across both the both categories of turnover-related expenses and operating costs. Now, the simple fact is that 9 million of that, in fact it's over 9 million of that, is attributable directly to operating costs applied to the strategic projects. So when you, instead of looking at the total, and I'll come back to analyse that for you in a minute, but you look instead just at underlying cost growth. Underlying cost growth was about 0.6% across the course of the year. So it was entirely manageable. When you break down those areas of cost growth, that 9 million, most of it, 5.3 million, related to the fixed odds betting platform, 3-point-something million related to the customer and channels initiative, and 0.7 related to the calendar work that we were doing, and the Optimise the Calendar initiative, as we described it, and 0.7 to AML. So again, when you think about the costs and you look at the cost growth, people can catastrophise that and say, my goodness gracious me, costs are out of control in some way. In fact, what the report shows is very strong discipline around costs, very strong focus on cost control, and particularly in relation to staff costs, which you will have seen came down in the course of the year. And I think the Chair spoke about that cost category coming down when she spoke. So what you see is a strategy which is being undertaken carefully, which is being managed actively, so as to deliver real profit growth over the next few years to increase distributions to the industry. And I'm very proud of the progress we've made. And the Chair's already spoken about the progress that's been made, for example, in the vision capture initiative with the new outside broadcast vehicles. We've got 2 of them now on, actually in action, high definition product being shown around the country, and it is fantastic to see that being delivered on time, on budget. The customer initiatives we've already talked about and the progress that they have made. In relation to the fixed odds betting platform, Stephen's going to show us a bit of a presentation, a bit of a teaser of what we're actually going to produce for our customers. We're within days of being able to say that project is complete and ready to be able to be launched. The Chair referred to the need to make sure we're testing appropriately. We've now finished regression testing, and that's a big stage complete. And so we will have this side of Christmas a complete project ready to be launched. Whether we launch this side of Christmas or we decide, because of risks around Boxing Day and New Year's Day, to launch right at the beginning of next year, I don't know. We'll have to make that assessment over the next week or so. But it is extraordinarily exciting. The product is exciting. Everyone we've shown it to has been excited by it. And just on that theme of excitement, I just want to say that for me, as I think about what's coming up for this industry, while there are people who are sort of thinking negatively about some of the challenges we face, who think negatively about the Masara review or something of that kind, I am not in that camp. I'm absolutely excited about what is coming. And it's not just because of fixed odds betting, although that is hugely exciting and will be a game changer for the industry. It is also because with the legislative changes that the Minister has said he will make, we will get race fields. Because with the legislative changes which the Minister has said he will make, we will get relief from gambling duty. With those changes, we will get the ability to take bets on virtual racing, as they do in Australia, and that will be a significant new revenue stream for us, as we will be able to do some other types of betting which are not currently available to us. All of those things give me confidence that we are going to see continuing lifts in the turnover and in the profit of this organisation going forward, and we are going to be able to deliver, as we have said we will deliver, increased distributions to the codes year on year on year. That's our statutory purpose. That is our ambition. That's what this team, the team at the New Zealand Racing Board, get up every day to do, to ensure the long-term vitality and viability of racing in this country. And I want to salute our people. It's not easy. It's not easy because lots of people misunderstand us. It's not easy because lots of people misinterpret the figures or the narrative and things of that kind. It's not easy because you've got to be away from home a lot and you're out around the country working with the clubs, working with technology. It's not easy because the TAB network until recently hasn't been invested in for a little while, so we've got a lot of work to do in that space, and all our TAB folk, I just want to salute you for what you do with our customers. But so the people of this organisation are committed to this industry and demonstrate that commitment every day. I just want to close by recognising that in the last season we had some fantastic racing and some fantastic success. Glenda's referred to some of the statistics that many of you will have seen in the NZIER report which we had done over the last season, looking at the breakdown of the $1.6 billion of value that racing creates for New Zealand and for New Zealanders. Looking at some of the 10,000 volunteers, as she said, that are part of our community. Looking at the 25,000 owners who are investing in the future of our industry. Looking at the over 600 people who are jockeys or drivers who are so important to the continuity of our industry. So can I simply, in closing, salute all of those people for their involvement, for their persistence, for their patience, and for their courage. Can I particularly salute the Premiership winners in each of the codes? It's just fantastic to see year after year the quality of the people that we have across our industry. We are world class at what we do. We can do better. And as the Chair has said, the Masara report and the collaboration which we now have with the codes lays a very, very strong foundation for that future success. In closing, can I salute my leadership team? They're wonderful. Can I salute the board? They're wonderful. I suppose I have to say that, but they are actually wonderful. They've been a fantastic board and a fantastic support to all of us over the last year. And can I thank all of you for your attendance today. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora mai, tēnā tātou katoa.
Well, every speaker has spoken about the fixed odds betting platform. Even some staff within here haven't seen it in its completion, but it is very exciting. Glenda's mentioned it, John's mentioned it, I've mentioned it. So we thought we'd take this opportunity for Stephen Henry, our General Manager of Services, just to give you a bit of a background of what on earth is it.
Are you ready to up your betting game? The TAB is launching a whole new experience for you and a new app. We've listened to you, the punters, and there's some similar themes coming through, like wanting to cash out. You want more options, a ton more options, and the ability to get your winnings put straight into your bank account rather than going into a TAB.
We're delivering on these requests and a ton more. What we need is for you to keep an eye on your inbox, as we'll be sending you information, timings, and some key details so that we can make it as easy as possible for you. Embrace the change. We're going to make the transition as easy as possible, and I can confidently state that once you've tried it, like me, you'll love it. No is not an option. Get on board, because we're upping your game.
I think the first thing to do is to understand what actually is the fixed odds betting platform. So it's three things. It is a new core operating system for our fixed odds, a betting engine that allows us to offer a new set of products for our customers. It's a new customer management system so that we can actually understand, work with our customers better and help us with things like anti-money laundering, harm minimisation, those sorts of things. And finally, it is a set of new digital channels, a new app, a new website, which will allow our customers to better navigate our systems, for us to be able to sell more bets, importantly, and also for our customers to get improved form and improved offers. So I thought I would just take you through what each thing is in its own right. The first thing really, our customers have been saying to us, hey, what you offer today is not enough. You don't offer enough product, you don't offer enough markets, and you don't offer it in the right way. Now that's not surprising. Our system was built in the late 1990s. So we're 20 years behind the times in terms of those offers. So we're intending to increase the number of markets, the number of products for each customer by about 40 times. So if we can give you 5,000 betting options today, we can give you 100,000 betting options tomorrow on a daily basis. That range of product puts us up the best of anywhere in the world. In order to do that, and in order to be able to price all of those options, we've partnered with Paddy Power Betfair, who are one of the biggest betting agencies right across the world. They run the highly successful sports bet in Australia, and that means we can take betting on things like, if you want to bet on it, Romanian tennis. A key feature will be a new betting slip, which allows you to always see the bets that you have down one side of the pane while you navigate the website and navigate the app. At the moment, you have to go backwards and forwards. That will allow you to always see what you are doing, and it will allow you to multi-up your bets really easily. When we've tested that with our customers, they've said that's a key feature that they've really been looking for. We're also offering a couple of hero products. So the ability for you to cash out your bets in a multi. So let's say you've got 4 legs of the multi have come in, you've got your 5th leg to come, we can make you an offer that'll cash that out right then and there for a price. So you get some control over your betting experience going forward. Customers have said to us that they want to be able to withdraw their money when they can. And this will allow you to withdraw directly into your bank account. That is a big bugbear of our customers. It's about giving them control over their money, over their markets. Right, the offer is consistent. So it doesn't matter whether you are on the website, whether you're on a tablet, or whether you're on the app, it'll look the same. Today, whenever you're on those things, on those services today with the TAB, they all look different. You have to know how to use each and every one of those. This will be a consistent look and feel. We're using a product called React, which is the same technology that Facebook uses. So we're right up there, leading edge. What does it mean for the racing industry? Well, most of the products that we will be launching will be sports products, right? And you might say, well, hold on, how does that help the racing industry? Well, we know from our Melbourne Cup campaigns that we've been able to have 53% of our sports bettors take a bet on racing. It gives us the ability to cross-sell into racing betting. And we know that experience is consistent right across the markets around the world. If you want to attract new customers into racing, sports is the way to get in there. You might be interested in the profit kind of area. So we're predicting this will add about $30 million annualised to our profits in 21, which underpins our SOI. There's been some questions around, so hold on, isn't there just a certain amount of money to go around in the New Zealand market, and so you'll be taking money from other customers or from other products into these products? Well, actually the key thing here is share of wallet. So when we talk to our large customers who are betting, we do not have all of their betting. They are going off to Australia, to the corporates, because of the product offering is better, the pricing is better. We'll be able to pull those customers back. We'll be able to increase our share of wallet. And for the TAB, well, we're expecting more stable systems. We're expecting our uptime performance to be better, our ability to manage the volumes and the transactions to be better. And that's a continued important component in offering a great service for our customers. Our risk and liability management tools for fixed odds betting increases and improves. Our ability to manage customers effectively is much improved as well. And finally, you won't believe this, but our current 98 systems are manually driven. We will be able to automate all of that, so they'll lead less errors, less cost, and increased performance. So uppingyourgame.co.nz is our microsite. It's where you can go and see all the Q's and A's for the new system. There is also our how-to videos on there. So there's an ability for you to have a look and see how to place a bet, how to place a multi, some of those kind of things. I think there's 5 up there at the moment. I'd encourage you to go and have a look. Here's an ability to get a snapshot and we look into what does the future look like. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your attendance and everybody's hard work and vision and drive. I'm looking forward to the next, well, it's 9 months now or 8 months now, but really looking forward to this fixed style betting platform and jumping a few more hurdles that get chucked in our way over the next few months, which is always good fun. Thanks very much for coming along, and we'll see you again next year.